Okay, it's been about an hour now, so I've taken it off the stove and I'm uncovering it, and you can see it has, matter of fact, it's over doubled in size. This is where, though, they would punch it back down, let it rise again, but I don't. I'm done where it's at right now. Now that we have our risen dough, we're going to dump it on the board. Again, this can make 5 loaves. I've decided not to make 5 loaves. I've decided to make 3 loaves and some cinnamon rolls. So I'm only dividing this in 4s. If you wanted to, you could kind of straighten it out a little bit and then cut it in 5 equal pieces, but I'm just going to cut it into 4s right now. So I now have it cut into 4 pieces. I'm going to separate them. And then I'll start kneading them individually. And as I knead them individually, then I'll put them into the bread pans. So a little bit of flour on the board. And go some kneading. You'll see there's a lot of air in there. As soon as you press down, it kind of collapses. That's why you have to keep kneading it to bring it back together. It takes a while, and after you have kneaded it enough, I shape it into a shape of a loaf, kind of push it down, make it fit into there to get it to this shape. And I'll go into my third one. Again, it's taking at least 3 minutes, maybe even longer in the kneading process. If you don't have really good bread pans, you might also want to coat the pans with Crisco. These are pretty good bread pans. I don't have to do that on these bread pans. Okay, to make the cinnamon rolls, we're going to take the last bread here, and you do not want to start kneading this dough right away. If you do, it's hard to roll out. So make sure that you don't push down and start kneading it. Just start rolling it right away. So here I go. I'm going to do it and start pushing out the air right away. If you knead it, you'll find out that the dough is really hard to roll out. So I'm going to first just start rolling. And after a few minutes, I'm getting closer to the desired look that I want here. You see it's starting to stick to my roller a little bit. And I finally am getting it to a larger shape that I want. And now I'm going to start spreading the cinnamon. If you download the recipe, it's in there of how much sugar and how much cinnamon. And I'm now going to start coating the cinnamon onto the dough. You might want to, if you want to, you could do a butter wash first across the dough before you put the cinnamon. That's up to you. I'm making a little spot now because of what I want to do is I want to lay a little bit of water and wet the dough, so when I roll it, it will stick. The last part will stick. So here I'm just taking some water. You could use milk, you could use egg wash if you want, but water works just fine. So I'm just wetting the edges so when I roll this, it'll actually stick at the end. So now I'm rolling it. And again, when I get to the very end where it's wet there, I will push down and try to have it stick. You might want to in the dough, you could, if you wanted to, when you get your dough, you could cut it just a square or a rectangle to make it more even. And you just throw away the extra dough that you have after you made your cut. Now I'm going to simply cut them into the rolls. You'll notice in the cinnamon sugar dish there, I've saved some because I want to sprinkle some onto the top of the rolls. I get my large cupcake pan here now, and I'm going to place the rolls into there. And now it's ready to go to the stove so it can go out, actually start rising. Okay, it's been an hour. They've been sitting on the stove and they have risen. And now what I want to do for the bread, I want to score the tops, and I want to add just a little a butter kind of wash on it. So I'm going to score the tops. And I'm only going to put in 2 loaves at a time. I found out they bake more evenly if you only did 2 loaves. And what I'll do is I'll save that 3rd loaf and put that in this one with the cinnamon rolls. So here I'm going to put a butter wash on here. Kind of coat the top with butter. That will give it a more of a nice brown top to it. And those 2 are ready to go into the oven. Okay, we're going to put the first 2 bread in the oven 350, between 4 and 50 minutes. It's up to your oven. You have to just check it out about the 45-minute mark and see how the breads are doing. So again, 350, 45 to 50 minutes. Okay, the first 2 breads are done, and we've put the other bread and the cinnamon rolls in. Again, cinnamon rolls, and anything you do smaller, I would check the cinnamon rolls at about 25 minutes, and the bread again from 45 to 50 minutes. So that's again, be careful about something small like the cinnamon rolls. They probably only take about 25 minutes. And now the second batch is done and the cinnamon rolls are done. You can see that they really baked up. I've already started eating the bread, and I'm just popping out the cinnamon rolls, and I will make a topping, icing for the tops of those, but that's about it. There's your bread making.